What's up, Arc fam? Welcome back to the channel. Noah here. Today we are going to be reviewing the new Masters of the Universe Mighty Masters Wave 1, as well as the Masters of the Universe Micro Teenies Wave 1. As you can see, I have some of the Eternia Minis figures here that I will be comparing with the Mighty Masters, and I also have a more recent He-Man Funko Pop that I also want to check out on the channel. I haven't been posting a lot recently because life has been really busy, so sorry about that. I don't think I'm going to actually get to some of the videos that I had mentioned before just because of the way things are, but I'm going to try to stay on top of the modern M0TU releases, such as the New Chronicles, Mighty Masters, and Core line. I've already purchased the inaugural edition Scareglow as well as the Alcala first one Skeletor, and then I got the Micro Teenies when they released and the Mighty Masters as soon as they released. So I'll try to stay on top of things from now on. First off, I'm going to go ahead and do the Mighty Masters. I've already opened these before and done a short on my channel, so when you actually buy these, the weapons are packed underneath the figure, and the figures are also tied down. But right now I just threw the figures back in the box where you can see kind of how they look. I'm going to turn on the light for this, I think. Yeah. So there's the artwork of Beastman. I wish Mattel could actually take some of the designs from the artwork and actually make a head sculpt that matches those designs, because a lot of the Beastman artwork, such as this artwork, is really, really, really good, and then you end up getting a head sculpt that's like that. It's kind of disappointing. This is just the same exact head sculpt from the Origins figures, but shrunk down. Also, the weapons in these are reused for the most part. The He-Man sword is just a shrunken version of the Origins sword. The Man-at-Arms mace is a smaller version of the Origins mace. The new Skeletor staff is a smaller version of the Alcala Skeletor staff. It's the exact same sculpt, it's just digitally shrunk. The Beastman whip is a brand new sculpt though. So I'm going to go ahead and open these figures. It just has a piece of tape at the top. Oh, and here's also the little side that shows you the contents and action feature. And then on the back, it's just legal stuff. Apparently these are not suitable for children 3 years of age or younger, even though these are done in the same style pretty much as Imaginext figures. I'm also going to show an Imaginext figure beside these to show scale here in a little bit. So I've got Beastman outside the package, and I'm going to go ahead and get the other ones out off camera. Real quick, I wanted to show this is where the actual He-Man figure would sit, and where all the other figures sit is in this portion, and then the weapon is actually tied down underneath here. So you just either cut the tie, or in this case just slide that out, and then that's how you get the weapon out. Real quick, I wanted to show off the artwork on these packages. Mattel never disappoints with the artwork on these action figures. As you can see, here we have a nice image of He-Man with Castle Grayskull in the background and some planets and mountains. Beastman just has some mountains in the back. We have Man-at-Arms with the Eternos Palace behind him and the rest of Eternia. And then Skeletor with Snake Mountain and a fiery moon behind that. Like I said, Mattel always does fantastic with artwork. Even if the figures are not 100% perfect, the artwork never disappoints. Moving on. Right away outside the package, I want to mention that these figures are highly detailed for the scale. It is actually amazing. Like bringing Beastman in closer, his head sculpt is fantastic. The paint is really good. The eyes could have been a little bit better, but I mean, they're almost on par with Origins with the way the eyes are painted. The armor is sculpted very well. The shoulder pads are really nice. Loincloth is sculpted well. I love the beast feet. Some people don't like that they just reused the Skeletor shin guards and beast feet, but I really love the beast feet. And it seems like Beastman is getting shin guards more and more often with modern figure releases, so I'm fine with that. He does not have a fur sculpt. He just reused the same base body as all the other figures. so that's a little bit disappointing, but I don't really mind. Beastman is my second favorite villain, so Trapjaw is obviously my favorite. That's why it's the icon for the channel, as well as for my other ArcFam channel. Action feature is actually really strong enough to throw the whip out of his hand. You just pull his arm back on this figure and whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And the whip is a nice plastic material. You can stretch it out, but it always flings back into position. Brand new sculpt, just a smooth piece of plastic with a smooth handle. Kind of reminds me of how the Filmation one actually looked in the cartoon, even though the Cartoon Collection one just got a recolored version of the Origins whip. This is more accurate to the Filmation whip design. Stand. They do have a little bit of a problem with standing, some of them. However, they do have a foot with a hole in them that fits the same size peg as Origins figures, so if you have like stands from McFarlane figures or something like that, they should fit directly into the foot pegs. He-Man has a really, really nice head sculpt. It's almost better than some of the Origins head sculpts, in my opinion. It's probably one of the better head sculpts in modern figure releases. There is a little bit of a green blemish on the hair right here. It's not coming across on camera, but in real life, there's a little bit of a blemish right there. But figures look really, really nice. Wrist bracers are painted well. The armor's painted well. The belt's lacking paint on all the figures, but that's fine. Boots are painted well. I don't really see much paint slop at all. The armor on the figures are removable, so I will show that off in just a little bit. And like I said, this power sword is just the same as the Origin sword, but shrunken down. The weapons are a little bit oversized on these figures, but I think that's intentional. And for He-Man, he doesn't have the arm thing. He has the spring back waist like the vintage figures did. So I think that's really cool. And then moving down to Man-at-Arms, he is colored the exact same colors as the Serpent Claw Man-at-Arms from Origins. The browns match exactly, and so does the greens. I did not bring that figure because I honestly did not think about bringing him out for this review. But if you guys want to compare the two on your own time, they do match perfectly. The head sculpt is just a shrunken version of the Origins first release Man-at-Arms head sculpt. Painted the same way as the first release figure as well. And as you can see, the straps are removable, and here's a little buckle. You can remove the arm guard and the leg guard. And the mace is just a slightly smaller version of the Origins one. In fact, this mace is almost to scale with an Origins figure. Let me bring in this Man-at-Arms figure that I have over here. I'm about to do my Transformers short, so I have this one on hand. Anyhow, let me fix this wrist bracer real quick. There we go. Like, it's almost in scale with this figure. Like, it's pretty close, as you can see, and it fits into an Origins figure's hand just fine. It looks kind of more like a robotic microphone, though. Bumblebee, sing it. Anyhow, mace is really cool. For the Man-at-Arms figure, we also get the little, well, it worked too quickly before I get the mace into the hand. We have the little spring-loaded arm right there. It's actually really strong, though, on these figures. So, like Man-at-Arms and Beastman, they both throw their weapons really easily. But the grips do work really nicely just to hold the weapon as long as you're not using the action feature. And in the other hand, it's actually a little bit tighter. The articulation on these, the heads just kind of look to the side. They kind of go up and down. Just a little bit. More down than up. And then for the figures that don't have the spring-loaded waist, they just turn at the waist. And then the legs, they can go forwards. Well, kind of outwards. They're more of like an outward hinge, like that. And they can spread into the splits. And the arms just go backwards and forwards unless you have the action feature in the arm like that. For the He-Man one, both the arms just go up and down. And the heads don't really move very much on some of the characters with larger heads like Beastman, He-Man, and Skeletor. Moving Skeletor a little bit closer in, he has a really, really nice head sculpt. The teeth are sculpted very, very well. I think this is a brand new head sculpt because none of the Origins figures have teeth that are as detailed as this miniature. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but they're very detailed. And the paint is very, very nice, reminiscent of the second release Origins Skeletor. The hood is a nice sculpt, nice color. The head just kind of goes side to side on this one. There's like basically zero up and down on this. I mean, it kind of moves, but not really. And then the arm, like I said, just goes up and down on He-Man and Skeletor. The loin protector or kilt is a separate piece, but it is permanently attached. There's no way to remove this, unlike the upper armor, but it just kind of floats around. And then the shin guards are only half boots, kind of like the vintage figure where you only got the front part on the later releases of Skeletor. Or maybe it was earlier releases, I can't quite remember. The staff, like I said before, is the same as the new Alcala First One's staff. So it's got a lot of detail. I would love to see this staff design reused in Origins, like for every new release, because this Havoc staff has a lot more detail than the first release Origins one. The ram skull looks more detailed. The little portions right here is more detailed. There's actually a wrapping on the staff right there for the hand, and the bottom part is more ornate as well. The ram skull is not movable on this staff, so it is just cast in a solid piece, whereas the Alcala one, the ram skull is still the same, but the staff and the ram skull are a little bit separate, so they can spin separately. Moving on to size comparisons, here we have a Eternia Mini Skeletor. So height-wise, these ones are a lot larger, but overall scale, the upper chest and arms and heads are basically the same. It's just these new figures keep more realistic proportions, so the legs actually fit the upper torsos. However, the upper bodies and stuff are the same size. So there's how they look together. And these also have more natural anatomy, whereas these were really stylized with the blocky nature and stuff. I do not have any of the Dollar Tree micro figures with me. A lot of those broke very easily, I found, so I did not purchase any new ones for this review. And I do not have any of the world's smallest figures to compare, but I do have these smaller scale figures for comparison. So if you were planning to get these to have them work together, I'm not sure if that'll 100% work. The figures might fit with the vehicles and maybe like the Battle Cat and Panther. I do not have the Battle Cat and Panther, and I only have the Roton vehicle, and I do not know where I placed it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the other comparison with the He-Man, the Beastman, and the Man-at-Arms. This axe is actually from one of the Mega Constructs figures, but the sword is actually the proper sword for this figure. They actually got the belt painted on the Eternia Minis figure, something that I wish they would have done on this figure, but overall, they're both something different, and they work out really nice in their own ways. To compare the swords, I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. They are very different styles. This one right here from the Eternia Minis one is very stylized. But they do what they're supposed to do, I guess. And this sword, I think, does fit into this hand. It does, but it's pretty loose. So he could use this sword, but I don't see why you would want to use this sword. It fits in the left hand a little bit better than the right hand. But if you wanted to dual wield multiverse style swords, he could become the He-Man that turns into Anti-Eternia He-Man by absorbing all the powers of different He-Men and killing them. I don't know. But This also has a sheath in the back, so the sword does fit into the back of the He-Man figure on the Mighty Masters. And then for the Man-at-Arms, here's how they look side by side. The maces are very different designs. And then for the Beastman, I only have the Revelation-inspired Beastman, but that's how they look together. And this actually did get very, very furry details on it, something that they missed out on for this one. And it also has a larger torso. I'd love to see this torso and these arms on this figure with this head and these legs. But there's how they scale with each other. Moving on. As you can see, like I said, the armor is removable on all of these figures. The He-Man armor is the same as the Origins one, so it's just shrunk down to fit this scale. So you just have a single tab there, and you have to slide the armor down the legs. I don't know if I went off camera just then, so like I was saying, single tab here, and you have to slide the armor down the legs. But yeah, they're really cool figures. For the Skeletor, you just have two little tabs on the back, and then you have to slide this part over the head. And here's how he looks without the armor on. He never misses chest day or ab day, obviously. Beastman, his armor just slides over his head. And then the arm pieces just slide down the arms. There's no buckles or straps on any of his armor. And then for the Man-at-Arms figure, here's how he looks. You have the straps and the tab for the main chest armor, the tab for the arm armor, and another little tab and peg for the leg armor. So, overall, really, really cool figures. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the micro teenies. Oh, one more thing. Here's how they scale with like a Kenner style Star Wars figure. This is like one of the more modern re-releases. So they are smaller than Star Wars and G.I. Joe and things in that scale. I think these are like 4 inches and these are closer to 3.5 inches or something like that. Moving on. Also, real quick, I did mention that I'd compare it to a Imaginext figure. This is a broken Killer Croc figure that I'm in the process of transforming into a trap jaw. But his height is not altered, so there you can see how they scale. So these are a little bit bigger than Imaginext figures. Moving on. First off, I want to show these off in package. So here you can see we have the He-Man Micro Teenies plush figure. We have the Mattel logo here, the Master Universe standard logo, ages 3+, and the Exploding Rocks, which is iconic for the Master Universe brand. I'm not familiar with Micro Teenies. I don't know if it's a new Mattel brand or if Micro Teenies is another brand and this is a collaboration. I really do not know much about this, but they are currently at Walmart, so if you want to pick these up, they are in like the baby aisle and sometimes in the clearance aisle. It just really depends on which Walmart you go to. We have this cute illustration of He-Man, and on the side we have an illustration of He-Man in the front, Battle Cat in the back, and Skeletor at the side. Skeletor is 2000X inspired on the packaging, but the figure's actually more Filmation inspired. Here you can see a cross sell with all 3 figures and the collect them all shout out. It says stuffed label note, contents, all new material, stuffing, polyester fibers, Basic Fun Incorporated, BOCA, Rayton, Florida, USA, made in China. So I guess this is a collaboration. It sounds like Basic Fun collabed with Mattel for this. I've never heard of Basic Fun before, but on this side we also have the little cute illustration of He-Man and the name of the character above that. On the top we also have another one of the illustrations, the name of the character, and the 2 logos for the 2 brands. For the Skeletor, same kind of thing, Mattel logo, Exploding Rocks, M0TU logo, Micro Teenies logo, and the 2000X inspired uh, cartoon illustration. Like I showed on the other side, the main character is in the foreground and the other characters in the background. So as you can see, Battle Cat's still in the same spot here. He-Man replaced Skeletor, and Skeletor replaced He-Man. And then for the Battle Cat, it's the same thing. Battle Cat's now in the front, and the other two characters move positions. So there's how that looks. And then for the tops, they all just have the main characters on the top. And then on the sides, the characters that come in the box on the sides. And the cross cell is the same for all of them. So I don't know if this is the only time they're going to release these and this is the only wave, or if there's going to be other figures released. I would love to see my three favorites, Trapjaw, Cyclone, and Beastman, but I know that Cyclone's really a deep cut. I would love to see them do Cyclone in an upcoming collaboration with some sort of brand, though. I mean, we got Mechaneck in Turtles of Grayskull. He's one of my favorite characters. Why couldn't we have just got the Cyclone from the comic book? Why, Mattel? Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and open these up, and then we'll get a closer look. Something interesting is when you pop the tabs to open them, there's another illustration of the characters, and then the shout-out, Big Fun, micro-sized, for all three figures. Here we have all three plush figures outside of the packaging. I'm not going to remove them from these trays because I intend to keep them in package for display, but I will show you the details. So here we have Battle Cat, really animated style, the nice exploding rocks in the background. You can see that he has the saddle designed on the back. His tail is nicely striped with the orange. He's got little orange stripes on his arms and legs. The legs each get one stripe. He's got a little strap for his saddle. And then, like I said, this adorable little face with the details of Battle Cat's helmet printed on. They're actually just printed, not sewn. So there's how that looks. It would have been nice if they would have actually like embroidered the raised parts of Battle Cat's helmet just to make it a little bit more 3D. But overall, I still like the design of this figure, or plush. And then there is a little tag. Actually, a really big tag for such a small figure. It's actually the length of the figure, which is kind of insane. Like, you can see that, the exact length of the figure. Moving him off to the side, bringing Skeletor with his extremely warped head. As you can see, he looks more Filmation inspired now. He has the Filmation Havoc staff and the Filmation color scheme, Filmation cross straps, and kilt. Here we have the Micro Teenies Basic Fun tag. Moving to the back, Skeletor does have a little tiny cape, little purple cape, and it appears to be like a cotton type material on the outside. Even though it said polyester, it feels like this is like a cotton polyester mix for the actual plush. And then the back just has the back of his straps and the back of his kilt. You have the little detail of a fold printed on, and then a Buzz Lightyear chin dimple and some really weird looking teeth. But yeah, there's Skeletor. Subscribe, you royal boob! Sorry, I don't know why that just happened, but he wants you to subscribe to the channel, apparently. And ring the bell notification so you get alerted to any new videos. Do it! Do it, you boob! Skeletor, that's enough. Chill out. Sorry. Anyhow, here we have He-Man with his nice blue eyes and red cross. Here we have the Power Sword. It's just sewn onto his hand. You can actually see the little stitches right there. He has a little bit less detail than Skeletor. Actually, no, Skeletor's wrist bracers are not detailed either. Never mind. You have the wrist bracers just printed on, and then you have the cross strap printed on. Filmation-inspired cross strap, apparently, because there's no red dots going up the top. And then the loincloth and belt. The belt does have the little circles printed on. And then he's got these little feet that actually do have a little bit of printing on them. I don't know if you can see. it's not coming across on camera, but let me try to turn the light off. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like little tiny wavy lines across the top to differentiate between the top of the boot and the bottom of the boot. Turning the light back on, his hair is sculpted, not sculpted, I keep wanting to say sculpted, printed on, and his little dimples and nose. He does not have a cleft chin apparently, which is a little bit odd because He-Man normally does. The backside just is printed like such. And that's basically how the Micro Teenies figures are. They're actually really soft filling, but they're firm at the same time. So you could throw one of these at your sibling if you wanted to, and it wouldn't injure them, but it still has a little bit of density to it to keep its shape. I don't recommend throwing things at your siblings, but I'm just saying, with these you could, but you shouldn't. Don't do it. Do it! Do it, you boob! Shut up, Skeletor, no. We do not do that, sorry. Anyhow, there's the Micro Teenies. And then lastly, a little quick show off of this Funko Pop statue that I purchased last year. I don't remember exactly which version this is, but I know that there's a Chase variant where he has like a very light purple skin and orange eyes and like I think whitish gray hair, which is very similar to the new artist collaboration color scheme for the floral He-Man for the Chase variant. You have this little Castle Grayskull inspired base with a little skull with purple eyes right there. Same thing on the other side. Nice metallic cross straps, loincloth, and boots are sculpted, as well as the wrist bracers, belt as well. A lot of nice paint detail. Power Sword actually has a lightning effect on it this time. And he is in the classic by the power of Grayskull pose, which a lot of people seem to think that that's when he says, I have the power. But if you remember from the Filmation cartoon, I have the power is when he brings the sword in like this, not when he raised it straight up. Anyhow, the Nicholas Glitz scene, I have the power scene, is when he raised the sword aloft too in the trailer. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out in the movie, but super excited for the movie to come out soon. And then we have these purple rocks right here for some reason. And yeah, that's basically how the Funko Pop looks. I really like this. I keep it on my desk. It stands up really well because the base, that's something that Funko Pop should always have as a base. I feel like with their top heavy design, they should always have a base, but I really like this figure. Thanks for watching. Make sure to keep track of the channel and keep up with my posts. One way that you can do that is by subscribing and ring the bell notification. Subscribe. You can do it. Subscribe. Peace.